Hi everyone, it's Lindenherz. I thought of joining one of the tarot decks that is going around at the moment, one of the newer ones, and it's by Stephen Bright from Tiferet Tarot, if I pronounce that correctly. And it's about our 22 faves, so 22 favorite major arcana cards. So I searched around my decks quite a bit, and I picked cards from actually around 15 decks or so. So you will see some decks, yeah, more than just once. Let's put it like this. And this is something you will see also the Guy in Tarot, and this is the first one I want to share with you, the Seeker card. So the Fool, and this is really a card that I'm connecting very strongly because, yeah, sorry, but she reminds me of myself. I really had exactly the same hair like her a couple of years ago, and she really looks like me from behind. The thing is that what I discovered about the model for this card was that this is actually not a woman, not a full-grown woman, but a girl. I guess she was 12 or so when she portrayed for this card, if I remember that correctly. But I really simply love the card, and all the symbology that is attached in there. Everything is meaning something, and everything you will find, which is depicted here in this card, you will find in the guidebook. And this is really, like the whole deck, very thought out, and I really, really love this. I love the scenery, and you really want to go hiking. Love that she has this wooden staff, and she's barefoot. This is also something I like. And her butterfly wings, she's ready to fly. This is kind of transformational process that she will go through. And you will see also the little butterflies here. And with her package, really, really strong. And she has a guide, not a white dog, but a fox. And a fox is a little bit here in European mythology. Sorry for that. I have the windows open because it's such a beautiful day, although there are some clouds out there, but the birds are singing, and maybe you will hear a fly flying around here, but this is always happening here around the time that big flies love to come in my flat and have problems finding out, so you will hear that too. But the fox here in European mythology is quite often associated with similar character traits like the coyote in Native American mythology, so the trickster one. So you have to be a bit on your guard when you go there, but he's also a clever one. He's one that you will be happy to have on your journey as well, because he gives you the advice for when to, adapt to his clever thinking, his way of going out of a situation. And I really adore this combination here, the card and this river here that you can see here vanishing in the distance, the mountain scape and so on. Really gorgeous card. So the next one is the Magician, and I choose from the Fountain Tarot. Maybe it's not my most favorite magician, but I doesn't want to, bore you with just one deck or just 2 of 3 decks that have my most favorite cards, but I like this one as well. First of all, he is really gorgeous guy. So whoever this guy is, I really like him. He's everything, he has everything that he needs as a magician. All the elements or elemental symbols are there. You have the lemniscate and so on and so forth. And he's a very modern-looking magician. And I really like the colors here in this card and his look. He's very confident-looking. He knows his stuff, and this is something I really adore here in this card. And in the whole deck, this kind of level of detail, the depth of these cards. Really gorgeous card. The next one is the High Priestess, or in this case, La Papesse, from the Danilov Tarot. And to be honest, I haven't used it that much, although I adore the cards and they read really beautifully from those readings I did, but I'm a bit afraid because of the cardstock. I still haven't rounded the corners. I'm not quite sure if I want to, but the cardstock is quite, sensible or sensitive. I don't know. So it seems like a bit fragile, so you can easily see where, when you shuffle it, where it could wear out. And yeah, I'm a bit afraid. I know there is a third edition now, or a new one, but the new one has, which I not necessarily like, has these kind of light brownish borders around, and I really like this one here. It's okay to have it, and I really love to have it, but I don't necessarily want to spend another, I guess it was $60 all in all with shipping here. So yeah, there are other decks on my wish list that I want to get instead, and still love to have this, and sometimes love to work with it. And she is really gorgeous looking and very traditional looking, and his style is really, I really adore his style, this kind of color pencil work he's doing. And I guess it's color pencil, at least it seems like color pencil, and his style, which is a bit like bit medieval influence, but with a modern touch to it. And sometimes his characters remind me of one of Terry Pratchett's illustrators, and I try to remember who it was. Was it? I guess it was Paul Kidby. I know there are two artists, and the younger ones, I said, the old Terry Pratchett books had these kind of really cramped, crowded looking illustrations that not necessarily were to my taste, because I never saw what I never got really what I was looking at, because it was so cramped with strange people and strange characters. And I really don't like the witches that this artist was drawing. And I guess the first artist of Terry Pratchett is is dead now. The second one of the Terry Pratchett artwork, well, artists, is I guess it was called Paul Kidby, and then I have an art book of all the Terry Pratchett illustrations. And sometimes his style reminds me of Danilov, Alexander Danilov style. So, and it's a gorgeous deck. It's very traditional looking, and she is really, really stunning. And all the symbols are there. The pomegranate is there. The book is there. The crescent moon is there. The pillar is here, the light and the dark one. And this veil, it's everything there, and I really adore it. So the next one is the Empress, but here it is called the Lady, and it's from the Druidcraft. And I love this picture so much, and I think I will make a larger print of it and put it on one of my sacred spaces, because she's such an embodiment of the goddess, especially around the time of Lammas, of Lunasa, this full pregnant one. And she is really embodying abundance here. She's, like I said, pregnant. She has this, the how do you call it? Weizengabe? The grain, and all the things that you will find in a, I don't know, is she holding I try to figure out now, she's holding a cornucopia, this kind of horn of plenty, and she is in touch with nature, and she's sitting on a throne, so you get this Empress feeling for sure. And can I just say, Will Worthington's art style is just breathtaking, and I love his landscapes. You really want to explore his landscapes when you see his art. So a gorgeous Empress card. So the Emperor I choose from the Marielle Tarot, and I really like his look. he's not so much, he doesn't have this stern look that some emperors have in traditional decks. And I really like this. He is more of a thought out guy. So he's contemplating his actions. I really like that. And all the symbols here, and I like his face. I simply like his face. And yeah, this whole deck is really special. And this is not, so to in my experience, it's not a light deck. It's not something you just pull out for fun or so. This is a deck that you pull out when you want to do real deep soul work. So gorgeous, gorgeous deck and gorgeous backing card. And I really like it trimmed, although it was really a pain in the, to trim it, to be honest, because the cardstock is so heavily laminated. And yeah, this is the thing that also prevented me to edge it, because I have seen other ones edge their deck and the colors, move into the cardstock in between. And sorry, no, I don't want to make a mess, so it will stay unedged. Maybe with some other kind of color or so, but I will see at the moment it's quite okay like it is. So the next one, so again we have the Guardian Tarot and we have the Teacher or the Hierophant. And I'm not fond of traditional Hierophants just because it's so, it's too Christian looking. I know this is where it comes from, but I like modern approaches, so it's more easily to handle for me. And I adore this guy. You could also think someone was saying that this is not necessarily, could be also a woman. I see him as as a guy, and I like how he's surrounded by greenery, and here also by yarrow. And yarrow was a very special and important power plant for me last year, and still is this year. I can't wait to see them in full bloom. And the red cedar here behind, this kind of, we call them, I'm not quite sure if you call them in English or in American English the same. We call them Mammutbäume, so mammoth trees, something like that. And you also find a few ones here, but they are intentionally planted, and of course not as giant as the redwoods in California, I guess. And we have a forest here in the Harz Mountains here in middle of Germany, and there is something we call Weltwald, so world forest or world wood, something like that. And there you find trees from all over the globe. So they have really areas where you find certain kind of trees that are specific for a certain landscape, and there are also redwoods. And I have never experienced before smelling redwood leaves or needles or something. They are so interesting or intriguingly smelling like bit of citrus kind of way. And I was in love with those trees, and the bark is so not it's not soft, but it feels a bit soft, to be honest, not silky or something like that, but it's a bit squishy, and I like that really, and it feels so warm, and I like it. And like I said, this teacher or this card is really wonderful, and it was really a stalker card for me last year. No, not last year, during the last month or so. And at the moment, this fly is really annoying me, flying around me. But like I said, this teacher card is really special to me, and it embodies this kind of studying, this kind of practical studying, to be outside, to learn about your environment, and this is a powerful card. So the next one are the Lovers, and I choose the Lovers from the Joie de Vivre Tarot by Paulina Cassidy. And I simply adore how these two are looking at each other on their strange kind of creatures they're riding on, and look at that. I try to focus on that, if this is possible. How they're holding hands. There's mutual respect for each other, and they are, heading in the same direction and having respect for each other and compassion and so much more. And I really adore this, these two here, though they're really funny looking and they're creatures also. I'm not sure how they're called, because each of the characters have names, as well as the companion animals sometimes. And also here, this bird that is carrying this kind of love letter, which was some kind of a symbol for good communication between each other and so on. I'm not quite sure anymore, but it's a really a wonderful card. So the next one, the Chariot. I have sometimes trouble picking a Chariot, and still have trouble sometimes with connecting with this card, although it's my my month card or so. So or my zodiac sign card or something. So for the month of July, it's the Chariot, so the 7th card, or the card with the number 7. And I chose this one. And I guess I chose it simply because of the wolves. Because of the differentiated wolves, the more light wolves here than dark wolves. And she is so much crone energy here in this one. I have to say, I simply chose her for the looks. I haven't much studied the card though, and as this was a card that wasn't so frequently looking up or showing up in my readings, to be honest. But it's a card that I would love to explore further. Maybe I can get a better feeling for it. There's another Chariot card that I really adore, but like I said, you would see only this one deck here and would get bored. And it's from the guy in tarot, this guy in the canoe that is heading in one direction, followed by some orca whales. And but this one here, simply because of the wolves and the dark wolf here. These opposing forces a bit, but you can see the light forces are, there are more white wolves or lighter wolves than this dark wolf. But it's simply breathtaking. So, talking about wolves, we come to the Strength card, and it couldn't be something else than this one. One of my favorite Strength cards, and I guess this was the reason why I bought this deck, to be honest. It had to do with a video by Kelly from The Truth and Story, when it was one of her early videos, and she talked about her relation to grief and so on, and talked also about this card. It's really a long time ago now, and I really immediately connected with this kind of with her saying and with the image, and I thought, okay, I have to get it, because I was really experiencing grief, in this case grief for myself, like a ferocious beast, kind of a maybe dark wolf or something that can sometimes really overwhelm you. And this was my way of relating to it, coming to grips with grief and coming closer to it, and not hunting it, not chasing it away, but being on one level here. And this was really something that transformed a bit my relationship to grief very strongly. And it's a perfect card from the Tarot of the Hidden Realms, so perfect for that. So the Hermit. I have other favorite Hermit cards, but this was one of my favorites. One of the first favorites I had from the Wild Unknown Tarot, from the first edition. And this is just, I simply adore it. And it was a year card 2 years ago or so, and I really loved to path work with this card, and it was a great experience. And really, this turtle reminds me of, I told it before, of the never-ending story. There is this ancient giant turtle, or tortoise, or how you call it, turtle, I say, and this was called the old Morla, die uralte Morla, and I adored this scene, although this turtle, she was quite a little bit wicked, and it had to do with being a hermit for so long, and with really just a few visitors, or if at all. And but it was a very, very strong scene in the book and also in the movie, but more in the book, I guess. And I really adore this card and this lantern that this turtle has here on top. And the graphic is just stunning. The line work is wonderful, and I adore it. So now we come to the Wheel of Fortune, and again, yeah, this is really the perfect depiction for me for the cycles, in the Wheel of Fortune, and here in the wheel. And we have the 4 seasons. We have the zodiacs around. We have the moon cycles around, and the butterflies for kind of everything is evolving. Everything is transforming from caterpillar to butterfly, or from the chrysalis to the butterfly, and really a perfect depiction for me. And I always had a bit of trouble to connect with this card, so this kind of a bit more modern approach made it more easily for me, and I really, really adore it. So the next one is, if I recall correctly, it is Justice, and I choose it from the Roots of Asia Tarot, and I really adore this kind of, as you can see here, it's kind of reversible, and you see it's not just a reflection, it's these how you call it, scales. And this is really something telling me about karma, and about that you come to, or have to face your decisions during life, or maybe also short before your death, or something like that. And this reflection that you have to look at all the things you have done, and you have done wisely and you have done wrongly. It's really a strong depiction. There are a lot of cards that are very strong in this deck, and I like it trimmed, although it chopped a bit away from it. But the only bad thing about it is now that I am having trouble identifying mostly sometimes the minors. I try to write on it, but sometimes you have to use light pen, and sometimes a darker one. And I haven't found one that is really good, a good sticking one on this. And this was the German edition. It's quite good cardstock, and I really like the light quality that these images, these paintings have. This kind of illuminating out of the dark coming colors, and wonderful. So the next one is the Hanged Man, and I choose Trial from the Margaret Peterson Tarot, and this is really full of symbology, and bit of like being of two minds, and these two opposing forces pulling at this Hanged Man. Still, he's gaining his wisdom from it, and this kind of fiery quality which looks a bit like a phoenix. So he not only illuminated, but he also transforms in something brighter, something more shiny. It really looks a bit like a phoenix to me, because of the flames and so on. And sun and moon, fire and water, and simply a stunning card. And you look, I try to on this gorgeous face, but my camera won't focus now. Quite a neutral looking guy, but a stunning card by Margaret Peterson. So the next one, Death card. I had a little bit of trouble choosing the Death card, because there were some favorites I have, and I had to go back and forth, but I had to recall the strongest one, and this is Death on Marielle Tarot, and this was really one of the cards that made me, whoa, this is strong and beautiful, and wow, and really everything in here, this kind of, yeah, a bit of decay. You can see she's at the end of her life, but something new is coming here, growing out of it. And here also some kind of a, try to see it, looks a bit like a flower or some leaves or so, but, and this is something that I'm now seeing for the first time. This is poor. I know, this is really a shame. I should have seen it earlier. Now I see, I don't know how you call this insect. We call it Gottesanbeterin. So something like goddess worshipping or something like that. And I see it for the first time. At first I thought, oh, some kind of green leafy thing with a red blossom or something. This is really simply stunning, and I have to delve into that a bit further. I'm not sure if Mary White explained about this insect, but this is really strong, and it's a strong card. But it's a shame that I'm recognizing it only now. But powerful stuff here. And the next one is Temperance, and I choose again from the Tarot of the Hidden Realm, and she is simply beautiful, and she is so mindful, blending these forces here together. You don't get the kind of, sometimes you have this kind of fire and water things that are blended in. This is something you don't see here in the card. She's simply, at least it looks like it, she's simply pouring water from one cup into the other, but she's really mindful, and she's really concentrated on this process, really being aware of everything she's doing and blending, and yeah, powerful. So another one, the Devil, and I choose the Devil from the, oh gosh, no, from the Bohemian Gothic. I had to turn around and look at the deck. This is everything what you can see, what this card is telling you about addiction and embracing addiction, being in it, out of your, free will or so, and not coming away from it and so on. And this is really a powerful depiction, and a really, really strong card. For some reason, I haven't worked that much with the deck, not even last year around Halloween, I have to confess. Sometimes I wish there were this larger guidebook for it, but this was something that was only published with one of the first editions of and I really find it quite a pity that this isn't released again, or wasn't released again. Simply something like a ebook would be also awesome to get separately, because I know that other independent creators and publishers sometimes have larger guidebooks and also publish it or make it available as an ebook, and it would be so great to read a bit more about the thoughts on each of the cards. But trying to get this guidebook is quite difficult and quite pricey, so still a stunning card. So now we're coming to the star, and I just had to choose this stunning star from the Greenwood Tarot, from my kind of Greenwood Tarot I recreated from the images that you can find on a certain website that are provided, at least from what I've heard and what I've read on the website, with the blessing of Jessica Potter, the artist of the Greenwood Tarot, who has moved away from her old belief system or an old belief to a new one, and has cut her cords, so to speak, to this deck. And now you can get this, still a bit of a gray zone, but for personal use it's okay. And if I would have her address or PayPal account or something like that, I would certainly, and I guess a lot of you who would want this deck and maybe would consider reprinting it for themselves, would certainly give her some credit in terms of money for this gorgeous, gorgeous artwork that is totally underrated on the deck, that is totally underrated, and now has become something like the holy grail of tarot, so to speak. I guess this was a term from Eclectic Tarot or something. But this is a star that is just, oh my gosh, this is really not a woman in it, but the North Star, the pole star above the earth, shining its light on earth and giving hope and spreading hope, and is simply stunning. So the next one is the Tower, and I choose the Tower from the Prisma Visions. Not a usual tower, as you can see. So no destruction going on, no thunderbolt from from above, and no falling people out of the tower. But you can see clearly that there will be something going on here, because this house is not on stable ground. You can see here this cliff is washed out by what looks like the sea, so washed out by emotions perhaps. And this looks like a sunset or something. So something will happen, so something will end. Some illusion will end, the illusion that you built everything you wanted to build on solid ground. So this isn't solid ground. It is undermined by emotions, washed out by emotions, maybe suppressed emotions. So the sea is below. And I really like that. This is really a tower card that really impressed me quite a bit when I saw it in the Prisma Visions. And I have to say, the Prisma Visions I really like, but I have a more soft spot for the minors than the majors in this deck. Sometimes I thought it would be also nice they would have made the majors, or the creator had made the majors borderless. But okay, I can get, because you can identify it more easily, so more easily in the deck. But still, a gorgeous card. So the next one is the Moon, and I choose from the Llewellyn Tarot, cause sorry, but isn't this just a glorious moon, and this owl, so night, and this illuminating quality of the moon, and the wisdom of the owl, and water is also there, and everything you could wish for in a moon card. Okay, there are not so much the traditional symbology in there. So no crayfish, no dog, and no wolf, and no face in the moon. Thank goodness, no face in the moon. This is the reason why I picked this card, cause no face in the moon. And you can see here below the fish here. So something is going on beyond the surface, which you can not easily make out, because the reflection of the moon is so shiny and bright, you can't see what's going on there. Only when you everything it will get more clearer when the moon when the reflection isn't too bright. So I adore it, and I have to say the quality of these watercolor images in the majors of the Llewellyn Tarot is just stunning. I just wish the artist would have done the same amount of work in the minors, because the minors feel really a bit more like sketchy. So a quick watercolor sketch, and this is a bit of a shame, to be honest. I think that the minors deserve as well, the same amount of energy and work than majors. Yeah. So next one, again, the Gaian Tarot, and I just adore this. This is everything I understand about the Sun card, because this is pure joy in the bright sunlight. So you have quite the traditional symbols here in this card here. You have the sunflowers, you have this wall, you have the sun behind. Thank goodness, no face. in it, and you also have this kind of red, not cloak, but you know what I mean. The red fabric, the same red fabric that the child in the traditional Smith-Waite deck is wearing or waving, or it's being blown by the wind or something. But you can also see no horse, nothing like that. But I adore it. She is simply, centered in herself. She is enjoying the day. This is simple joy at its best. And this is what I like the most about the Sun card when it's depicted. Like that, I don't know necessarily. There are also other gorgeous Sun cards. This is really where I have to make a statement. These are some of my favorites, but there are a lot of more favorites, so I could have picked much more. Sometimes, like I said, maybe just from one deck or two decks. But there are, in every card I picked, there is a certain aspect that impressed me to some degree. And so I picked them like that. And this is really all what I understand about the Sun card. And at the beginning of my studies, I never got why they have to put a naked child on a horse or something. This was strange to me until I read a bit more about the Sun card, explained by Hanju Banshaf, and he explained this kind of simplicity, this child embodying some kind of the simple joys, and these first stages maybe also of joy, but something along that line. But this was the point where I understood a bit more also about this traditional child on a horse thing here, but this is more to my taste. So we come to Judgment, and I choose the Judgment from the Greenwood Tarot, and yes, it's a powerful image. I like this. I like the fact that you don't see this traditional thing going on. So the angel with the trumpet and the dead rising from their graves and so on and so forth. But you certainly have also this kind of underworld feel in terms of the trees. These are symbols for that. So these are yew trees, and yew trees are related to the realm also of the dead, and also because of the poison that the tree needles are having. Also the fruits, I should say, not the fruit flesh or something like that. Not the fruit flesh itself, but the core of the fruits are extremely poisonous. So this is a tree that is symbol. It is said that this tree is, where it's growing, there is some kind of a portal to the underworld, to the next world, to the world of the dead. How you want, not the next world, the world of the dead. So this is really something I like. And I like this cave that you have to pass before you can be reborn. And this ice bearer, this giant ice bear, is making sure that you're going through this cave, but not in a threatening way. So when you see this card in the Wildwood Tarot, the bear is quite frightening to those who enter the card. And this isn't so much of a frightening bear. You met this, or you will meet this bear before, or you have met this bear before in the one of the earlier cards, which is something like the devil or so, where you see some kind of a cave bear, or just a skeleton of that. And now he is kind of reborn again. And now after you've gone through so much, through the cave of this kind of devil, of this force that strips you of your flesh, and of all the things that you thought of your life, and all the lies maybe you have lived, or things that you want to leave behind, you now come to this cave to be reborn again. And this is really something I really like. The strong shamanic feel that you get here from this card. And the last is also from the Greenwood. I had to choose the World Tree. And this is, my gosh, this is such a stunning card. Oh, I can't rave enough about this card because it's so amazing. And I also love the Greenwood World Tree. But those of you who have this deck will remember that the Greenwood Tree also has the Labyrinth depicted, but the Greenwood, the Wildwood. The Wildwood Tree isn't growing from the center of this this labyrinth, and this is what I like here more because this tree is in the center. You traveled through the arcana and come to this end and the beginning itself, because so those of you who have seen maybe the Fool of the Greenwood will remember that the Fool has some kind of a labyrinth behind her. I'm not quite sure. So this is a kind of a full circle thing, and these colors, simply wonderful, and I like that. I really like that, and the Labyrinth is a strong symbol for me, for many others as well, but this is really something I'm exploring intensively this year. I have explored it before, but only on the surface, and now I'm really traveling the Labyrinth. It was simply it is simply a stunning card, and it is simply it was also simply a wonderful tag to do. I hope to make the other tag that Stephen was initiating, the 16 faves tag with the 16 favorite court cards. So I think we will see us very soon. So I wish you all the best. Bye!